Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And Julio Macias in the house. He's an actor, great success on Netflix.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So tell us about the show.
So the show takes place in a fictional town called Free Ridge, but it's essentially every inner city that could be, across the West Coast. I mean, really across the country. And they show these kids go through the high school experience with in a tumultuous.
Yeah. It's a tongue twister.
Yes.
A gang-ridden area with a lot of situations that a lot of kids don't necessarily get to go through. What I love about the show is that it's funny, it's poignant, and you see these kids really push through all of that, and their biggest problems end up being normal high school problems outside of people rolling up on them and stuff.
Well, let's take a look at the trailer for On My Block.
I need protection. Protection from what? 200K in this neighborhood? Who wouldn't be paranoid? It's a new year. Finally, we can get back to normal.
Big feelings. They're good. That's the gift of youth.
That's it. Everybody get in here!
Everybody get in here!
Monte's pissed! I'm on a break, Ronald!
There are no breaks when there are teenage boys trying to stick it in.
I don't want to live the rest of my life in fear or with regret. Every day, we can choose to love instead of hate. I'm gonna focus on the good.
Wakey, bitch.
Wow.
All right, so tell us about Spooky Diaz.
Okay, so Spooky is, they like to call him the villain of the show. I like to call him the very misunderstood anti-hero.
Way to reframe.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's not telling his younger brother the right things to do, but he's telling him how to survive in the situations that they're in. So yeah, these are definitely not advices that anyone would willingly give their kids. But when you grow up in those situations, Oscar, he's 24 in the show, but he grew up in this life, and he wanted to, he was going to go to a magnet school. He wanted to be a chef, and then the reality of that neighborhood hit him. It changed him. It forged him into this tougher guy that you see. And then there's no mom, there's no dad, there's only the gang. How else are you going to protect your younger brother if that's the only family you know? You're going to say, hey, I know that you think that you're going to get out of here, but you're just a Mexican kid out in Free Ridge. Like, I didn't get out. What makes you think you're going to get out? So if you're going to stay here, you got to be able to protect yourself, and this is the way you do it. So as weird as it sounds, it comes from a very twisted sense of love and responsibility towards the community and his younger brother.
What is it about this role and character that resonates with you most personally?
Coming from Mexico City, wanting to be an actor, you sort of always hear this idea or the stereotype that you got to play the gangbanger or the side role or this or that. So growing up, I had this wrong direction that I wanted to not play anything that was Hispanic, so that I could, disassociate myself from that. And then I read the sides for Spooky, and then I auditioned for it, and I got it and started working at it. And I saw the opportunity to play something without playing a caricature. That's not what I wanted to do. So for me, what it resonates is that I am playing a villain, I am playing an antagonist, but I refuse to let him just sit there and stay there like that.
You know what I like about it, like On the Block, the concept that every lesson, everything is right where we are. Like you can have all revelation around the whole situation, around universal law, about how life works, how the psyche works, everything in any type of a situation, and this show represents that for me.
Yeah, and I think that you see it all of these things like, well, I don't know what that would be like, and then you listen to the conversation and you get to the grain of it, and I'm like, oh man, I just had that conversation with my sister last week. Like
universal themes that everybody can connect with. I love that.
External situations affect how these people are going to handle that, but they're all very human, similar stories.
What's your story? How did you get to this place where you get to be on the block? And
It's the same story that of what I'm going to do after this. After this, I'm going to drive down Santa Monica and audition.
pretty much, right? That's awesome.
It's this crazy thing called an audition. That's
Was that it? Was it just showing up, audition after audition after audition?
Yeah.
Taking the classes and.
I knew that I wanted to act when I was very young, like 5, 6 years old. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. The older that I got, I understood that there was obstacles, and I always thought that I wanted to be an actor when I was much older, the 40, 45, because those were the characters that I saw that I related to, that I thought, ooh, that's cool, I want to do that. So I always thought, well, what do doctors do? What do lawyers do? They go to school for 10, 15 years. Why don't I do the same? After 7 years, 8 years really studying it after high school, you realize that this is way different than a doctor or a lawyer. You have to go out there, you have to audition. Even though I never wanted to play anything as a teenager, I think I cheated myself out of a valuable learning experience from not starting auditioning earlier. You know, I only started auditioning when I was 23, and it was nerve-wracking, and I would see people come in and boom, boom, all right, how you doing later? And I was like, sorry, can I do that again? Studying, life experience, putting that together, being incredibly thankful that this is the first thing that I get to do, because I put my heart and soul into it, and I hope that reflects in the future of my career. But yeah.
It is a good point you make too, because I think sometimes it's easy to get stuck in like student phase in your life or like learning phase. Not that you don't want to learn your entire life, but you don't actually put yourself out there and give yourself a shot to do something. You think you have to spend a certain number of years building up the education or whatnot to finally audition.
Yeah, it's like this idea of doing monologues for 40 years and then coming out and be like, I'm ready, guys.
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh, you are 30 years too old for that role now that you've been practicing.
And how do you feel about that there's more Latin roles in Hollywood now? That's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, definitely. Again, it's this weird conversation that I've been having with everybody in my castmates. Everyone talks about what it's like to finally see someone represented on screen, and that wasn't something that really hit me. I was born in Mexico City. Spanish is my first language. I moved here when I was 7 years old. If I wanted to, when I saw Hocus Pocus, I wanted to be one of the witches. It didn't matter that they were women, and it didn't matter that they were white.
Awesome.
That's how my brain worked. However, once I got this role, once the fans started reacting to having me, when a 32-year-old man hits me up and he's like, yo, I get you, I went through that, or a 15-year-old boy is like, hey, I've never seen someone like you on TV. It wasn't about me. It wasn't what I thought representation was. It is what it is, So even though I'm like, yeah, there's more Latin roles, but I just want to play whatever, it is super important that there are Latin roles,
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell people they can follow your personal journey.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Julio Macias, because I'm just one of them. There's a lot of us.
And of course, they can catch your show on Netflix.
And you can watch On My Block Season 2 and Season 1, because they're both hilarious on Netflix right now.
Amazing. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll bring it back.
Thank you, guys.